Hello, I'm Brian Zirulnikoff, Director of LatAm Markets at EB5AN. I was born and raised in Miami Beach, Florida. My father came on a similar investment program in 1974 for Buenos Aires, Argentina. I speak English, Spanish, and Portuguese. And I've been in the EB5 industry for the better half of 12 years. A little background about me: I specialize in source of funds from countries with extreme capital export restrictions. I used to work for a top EB5 law firm as a senior EB5 paralegal and director of business development, and then I moved over to the risk mitigation side, where I worked with Dynax Capital for over 6 years, and for Go Visa EB5. I joined EB5AN because I've been working with them for over 10 years. They always had a stellar reputation in terms of the risk mitigation. They always had the best network of regional centers, the highest quality of compliance. And when I saw that there was a position open, I got very excited, and one thing led to another, and I haven't looked back since. For the last 12 years, I've been on all sides of the coin. After the several thousand families that I've helped personally, I've seen today is probably by far the best time to get involved in the EB5 program if you're looking to get the green card benefits for you and your for clients and families. Working on the immigration legal side, the broker-dealer side, the developer side, and the regional center side has really allowed me to see the evolution of the EB5 program, whereas before you'd have to wait, when it started increasing the times from 18 months all the way up to 5, 6, 7 years before you even got a response. Today, it's really game-changing to see how quickly clients are able to realize their American dreams in 6 to 12 months. Green cards in the mail would have been unheard of, in 2013, 2014, even when the backlogs were not low. Investor protections, transparency, the elimination of most bad actors in the market through all of the new legal changes really makes it worth it for families to get the most value of establishing themselves in the United States through the EB5 program. And I'm proud to be in the market through this evolution. Well, because we're so transparent, it kind of just self-reinforces. I don't know if there's anything new, but since joining EB5AN, I've only seen positive reinforcement to all the things that I already knew about EB5AN regarding the level of transparency that we provide. That's unparalleled in the market. Nobody's willing to give financial statements. Everybody our competitors mostly marginalize investors in terms of production and transparency of documents like financial statements. Obviously, you get your EB5 documents, but everybody wants to take a look under the hood. And I grew up in the EB5 industry seeing developers and regional centers say, you're just an EB5 investor. Why would we give you financial statements, right? Why would I give you access to where your life savings is going to go to for 5 years? And so I just see even more transparency since I've been joining. I didn't realize that, although I worked closely with EB5AN over the last 10 years before joining, it's incredible to see that we provide financial statements of all our projects to projects. That for me was a game changer. It really made me see and realize the level of commitment that we have to our investors. Another thing that I find great about EB5AN is, to add to the level of transparency, is we're actively providing sales reports and data so our investors can see the job, the construction progress on a monthly and quarterly and annual basis. And a lot of all of our projects have the capacity in our underwriting risk mitigated process to start, finish, and pay back the capital for EB5 clients without the capital of EB5 clients, which is not something that we see in any, pretty much anywhere, right? Everybody needs the EB5 money to get a bank loan. They need the EB5 money to start the project. They need the EB5 money to finish. And certainly if the project doesn't finish in most circumstances, they're not going to be able to pay back the investors. And in most of our projects, if not all, that is the case. They don't need the capital. And that's one way that we mitigate risk. As far as the independence of our EB5 regional center, we're very, very strict about maintaining conflict of interest free company. There's a lot of EB5 regional centers out there whose same owners are the same owners as the actual projects that they're managing, which, you know, we like to sleep very good at night, and we do so by maintaining, you know, that conflict, keeping that conflict out of our equation, to make sure that our investors have an independent EB5 regional center that's dedicated to them managing and complying with anything related to EB5, to make sure that they get the removal of conditions, and also integrating the underwriting process. You don't want the same regional center owner to be the same project owner. It's just, you know, and the immigration attorney as well, although we provide referrals to very qualified immigration attorneys, they don't represent our firm. They're independent from us, and they don't have that conflict representing multiple parties, and including a conflict clause in their retainer. Again, something that helps us sleep good at night. Another added benefit of working with us is we refer our clients, because in most cases they've never spoken to an immigration attorney and aren't even aware that they need one. Very qualified EB5 immigration attorneys that have worked with us, have clients approved with us, know how it works. Not any immigration attorney knows what EB5 is, which is a common misconception and nuance in the market. Actually, you know, EB5 is a very niche and specialized industry, and the immigration attorney should have experience in the EB5 world. But in the event that our clients that are US based, or they have friends and family who they've referred them to, then they've never done EB5, we provide a high level of support and coordination for those immigration attorneys to be able to make sure that and guarantee that they succeed in getting our clients EB5 approvals across the board. And I think it's important to always, you know, interview at least 5 to 10 EB5 immigration attorneys, at least, you know, as thorough as I am in general, and how a lot of our clients are. They like to have options, and I think it's good so that you can get, because this is somebody you're essentially getting married to for 5 to 7 years. You have to have that rapport with your EB5 immigration attorneys. And I think it's important to understand that this is a long-term process, and you should go about your due diligence for immigration attorneys in a very thorough way, so that, you know, you manage your own expectations in the future and you're satisfied with the level of their service. And for investors that, you know, in general, if you're listening, an immigration attorney basically is your legal representative to the US government. When they file that G28 form, they communicate directly on your behalf to the government. For all correspondences, they come to them and you, and they'll be communicating with the government on your behalf going forward until your removal of conditions and the return of your capital essentially takes place. And just to add to that, how do you find out if there is a hidden conflict of interest if they don't directly represent the regional center? And working for an EB5 law firm 12 years ago when I started, I can tell you, if an attorney is recommending you to just one project, that's a good way to know that he or she has a conflict of interest. Typically, when I worked for the law firm that I used to work for, we would only recommend 3 a minimum, and I think there's some guidelines in the code of ethics for immigration attorneys that's, you know, required in. But that's one way to find out if there's a conflict of interest, if they're only recommending you one EB5 project, because generally they're objective in their recommendations for projects. Some of them could just not know anybody else, and in some cases maybe it's innocent, but it's a good, you know, it's good to understand that you should always have somebody referring you to multiple avenues. Especially if this is something that they've been in the industry a really long time and they're only sending you to one project, clearly for me, I would say objectively they have a conflict of interest, even if they don't appear to have one.